The falling crime rates over the last 2 decades can be attributed to a combination of to a combination of social, economic, and policy factors. One significant factor often cited by researchers is the reduction in lead exposures, particularly in children. A landmark study by Rick Nevin suggested that the decrease in leading gasoline and paint during the 1970s and 80s contributed to a subsequent drop in violent crimes, particularly in the 1990s. Lead exposure is associated with cognitive impairment and behavioral issues, which may contribute to criminal behavior. With the reduction in lead exposures, children born in the 1990s grew up with fewer developmental problems, leading to a decrease in crime later on. The adoption of community policing strategies, particularly in the 1990s and 2000s, has been linked to a declaring crime. Community policing emphasizes building relationships with local communities, engaging in problem solving, and focusing on preventing crime rather than just responding to it. Additionally, CompStat systems, which is a data-driven approach to crime analysis, has allowed police departments to become more efficient and targeted in their crime-fighting strategies. Moreover, the broken windows theory, which posits that policing minor offenses helps to prevent more serious crimes, may also have contributed to it. The decline in crime has been correlated with improvements to the economy in the late 1990s and particularly 2000s, particularly in terms of rising employment rates. Economic stability can reduce the pressures and stresses that lead individuals to commit crimes, particularly property crimes. While crime rates have fallen, high incarceration levels remain a pressing issue. Mass incarcerations in the U.S. have had devastating social and economic consequences, especially in marginalized communities. The criminal justice system's over-reliance on incarceration as a tool for managing social problems, particularly for nonviolent offenses, needs to be addressed. Government should focus on sentencing reform to reduce unnecessary incarceration, especially for nonviolent offenders. This includes revising mandatory minimums and offering alternative sentencing options such as probation, rehabilitation, or community service. For example, the First Step Act, passed in 2018, introduced reforms to reduce mandatory sentences for nonviolent offenders and allowed for the early release of inmates who have shown good behavior. Government should invest in rehabilitation programs that prepare offenders for re-entry into society. This includes offering access to education, vocational trainings, mental health services, and substance abuse treatment. Studies show that inmates who participate in rehabilitative programs are less likely to reoffend. In fact, the Washington State Institute for Public Policy found that prison education programs significantly reduce rates and provide a high return on investment. Rather than focusing solely on punishment, government should increase efforts toward crime prevention by addressing the root cause of crimes, such as poverty, lack of access to education, and poor mental health. Social services, including job training programs, mental health support, and early intervention programs for at-risk youth, can play an essential role in reducing crime rates and the need for incarceration. While the fall in crime rates over the past 2 decades is a positive outcome, it should not be used as an excuse to continue policies of mass incarceration. Instead, government should focus on reforming the criminal justice system to rehabilitation, crime prevention, and fair treatment for all individuals. High incarceration levels should be reduced through sentencing reform, investments in rehabilitation, and addressing underlying social issues that contribute to crime. By doing so, governments can improve public safety while ensuring a more just and effective criminal justice system. The sources that I used were Barker, The Politics of Punishment, Nevis, Understanding the Crime-Violence Connection, Pew Charitable Trust, The Impact of Prison Education Programs, Shapiro C., Community Policing and Its Impact on Crime, and B. Western, Incarceration and Social Inequality.